What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here another mock draft Monday. Today we are doing a PPR draft. Going to randomize our draft position, doing PPR, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs. Let's randomize it and let's hop right into this thing. So we are drafting for number 2 overall here. Let's hop right into it. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I have a ton of fantasy profiles on the channel, a ton of new fantasy football strategy coming your way. Check all that good stuff out. With the second pick, I'm going to take Dalvin Cook. Not much thought even really goes into it. With a 102 for me, I'm taking Cook all day long. Assuming Christian McCaffrey is gone, which in 99% of your leagues he will be. Okay. So let's see who is still available. So at running back, it's Mixon, Swift, Carson. At the far as wide receivers, Kittle is still available. We've got Jefferson is out there. Okay, I'm going to take Justin Jefferson with one of these selections for sure. Take him there. I consider Carson here. I think, I took Justin Jefferson hoping I could snag George Kittle too, and then Kittle was taken by the team on the turn, so that was disappointing. But we'll see where we're going to end up going. I am tempted to take Carson. I think it's a little early, though, just so I could lock in that second running back. I think it's a little too early to take Keenan Allen, honestly. I think he's a really good receiver. I'm excited about his target volume. I think early third might be just too early. Taking a look at everybody that's here, though, it's basically between Carson and Keenan. It's a PPR league. I'll take Keenan Allen. In PPR, he's very, very good. I think combining him with Justin Jefferson isn't the biggest reception player, but Keenan Allen is definitely one of those guys. He could have 120 receptions this year. I have 3 Week 7 buys and 2 Minnesota Vikings players. I don't mind owning 2 players, a wide receiver and a running back on the same team, or a wide receiver and quarterback, or wide receiver or quarterback and running back. I feel like I'm getting a diversified attack that way. As long as it's a good offense, I'm getting the passing touchdowns if they throw it past them. I'm getting the rushing touchdowns if they run them. Doesn't have this high an upside as some other teams do, but the offenses are good and the players are good. Like for me, Justin Jefferson is a tier above every other player that was available, and same with Dalvin Cook when I drafted. So it wasn't much of a decision to me. Okay, now's where it gets interesting. I am definitely glad that I waited on running back. Darrell Henderson is still available. I absolutely love Darrell Henderson this year in drafts. I think he's just going too late. I don't understand it. I'm about to pick him at the 411 here, and just to put in perspective, Cam Akers is basically going to the 111. I think that, there should be some drop-off between Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers. I thought that Darrell Henderson was honestly going to rise so high I would never want to draft him. But honestly, he's just stayed right around that 4th round range. And if you can lock him in as your 3rd or 4th running back, as your 3rd running back, or, your second when you've been able to take 2 receivers, I've got an anchor RB already in Dalvin Cook. I'm not going to, anchor him necessarily to everybody else, a bunch of wide receivers, the whole strategy. But I'm going to take Henderson here and lock in my RB 1 and 2 along with my wide receiver 1 and 2. And I feel really good about those 1-2 combos there. I need one more receiver still, though, obviously, and a flex. So looking at who's still available at the running back position, I'm very interested in ETN. Some of these guys later in this next tier. Kyler Murray's still out there. That's pretty enticing at this point in the 5th round. If I wasn't so early in the 5th round, I'd probably take him. There's still some very valuable pass catchers on the board, though. And I'm going to take Brandon Aiyuk I think Aiyuk is a value this year in drafts. I think he was just so good in 12 games last year. Kyle Shanahan, honestly, I believe they had the 13th overall pick in that draft and the 26th pick, and he was thinking about taking Aiyuk as early as 13. They really liked him last season. We saw how good he was last season, and I expect he's one of those guys who has that breakout potential. And when I have two established stud wide receivers, this is the kind of upside I want to add with that third wide receiver spot. And I think I can get a solid wide receiver later as well. And we don't have a flex in this league. That was a mistake. We just have 3 receivers, 2 running backs. Excuse me. Okay, so. Ooh, Robbie Anderson's still out there. Late 6th. I think that's pretty good value. I've seen him go in the 7th of a lot of drafts. Certainly doesn't have the upside of maybe a Claypool, but I think he has a much, much safer floor. Another guy I really like this year, Jerry Jeudy. I think he could be this year's Robbie Anderson. A guy, I'll probably do a video on that soon, but yeah, I think he is offering good value to people in drafts at this point. Okay, looking at who's still available, I am tempted to take Kareem Hunt, honestly, and lock in a pretty solid third back, although only having to start 2 every week kind of makes me want to go for more upside here. Apologize for that noise, guys. It's just my house being weird. That should disappear pretty soon. Okay, I'm going to take... You know what? Let's go with Robby. You know what? I'll actually take Chase Edmonds here. I think he offers good enough upside in the 6th round. I'll lock him in as my third running back, get some solid depth, a guy who can play for those guys any week. And then I'll take Robbie Anderson with this next pick and build up that wide receiver depth. I feel like I was able to get good depth options for both of those big-time positions. And we keep it rolling. Okay, Trey Sermon went. That's kind of a bummer. That's a great value at the 8-10. Antonio Brown went as well. Mostert's still out there, though. I'm going to snap that value up in the 8th round. I think he's more than worth it. Okay, and then Tom Brady got back to us. I think Brady's going to have a great year this season. But, you know what? The way to win your league is drafting a guy like Jalen Hurts as your quarterback, a guy who has that kind of a rushing upside. 30% of his points could come from rushing. Maybe not 30%, but a huge chunk of his points could come from rushing this year. I think he's a guy who could easily, 6 to 8 carries pretty easily. So I'll take him at this point in the draft. I think the risk is worth the reward. I love Brady this year in drafts too. I think getting him in the 8th round is a great value. I'll take Robert Tonyan here. Lock in that Packers touchdown machine. Taking a look at the other running backs available, I'm tempted to take what round are we in? We're in the 11th round. I'll take James White here. I've got 2 solid running backs, actually. I'll keep it rolling. Okay, we're going to take Elijah Moore here. He might be a little bit early to take him, but I think he has a good chance. I think he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver for the New York Jets. Now, is that saying a whole lot? No, it's not, but I think he's going to have a pretty darn good season. I think he's a pretty good player. I think he averaged 149 receiving yards per game last year in the SEC, which is pretty remarkable. More yards per game in the SEC, or I think he was 7 yards short or something per game than Devonta Smith was, just put in perspective of how good he was. And so I think there's some value there on him going this late in drafts. I will snag Alexander Mattison since I have Dalvin Cook. I think that's only smart. And let's see. I'll take Nelson Agholor. I think he could be the number 1 for New England. I think Mac Jones has a really good chance of winning that job and that being a potentially fruitful position for whoever is a starter there as far as wide receivers go, whoever's getting the most targets. I think James White's also a value in drafts this year because of that same reason. I think that, what's his name, is going, Mac Jones, I believe, is going to win that job. So I think it offers a lot more value to a lot of those players. I'll take Adam Trautman here. I think he's a value. He could be the leading target getter for the Saints. I think there's a real-world possibility that happens. And you know what? I'll stand the Patriots defense here just because. Okay, let's take a look at the team. I've got Jalen Hurts at QB, Dalvin Cook at running back, Darrell Henderson, my RB2. For our wide receivers, we got Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Brandon Aiyuk, solid core there. Robert Tonyan, more upside for that tight end spot. We got drafted that Patriots defense in that last round. Then with running back or our bench, we've got Chase Edmonds, Robbie Anderson, Raheem Mostert, Elijah Moore, Alexander Mattison, Nelson Agholor, and Adam Trautman. I really like the team. Like I said, I think I've got great upside that QB position. I think Brady was more the solid pick, going to be a top end, a QB1 for sure. But Jalen Hurts has that really high upside of just being ridiculous with that rushing that he brings to the table. I feel like I have a good core of running backs, really good core of wide receivers with Jefferson and Allen, and then Aiyuk, as I said, for upside, and really solid bench options as well. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. Until next time, this is Fantasy Joe.